Hey, everybody. We're joined today by Oscar Cluff of South Dakota State men's basketball. Oscar, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Oscar, it's been a great season overall. Another big week out of you. As we do on this, we try to have the reigning Summit League Player of the Week. Last Saturday, you go for a 20-20 game. Last night, you have another big monster game. One of the nation's leaders in rebounding and double-doubles. Just kind of recap everything that's been going on lately and just how the season has been going for you overall.
I think the season for me has been going better. It progressively gets better all the time. But I think as a team, we're starting to find ourselves, which is really good. Really, really stoked with that. And I think we're just going to continue growing.
Awesome. So, Oscar, a little, basketball related, but more get to know you kind of question. Tell us a little bit about your journey to South Dakota State. I know you played at junior college a couple of years, Washington State, then to South Dakota State. Like, how did all of that kind of come about? From Australia originally? Like, how does that all happen?
It's like a really random story because from Australia, usually a lot of people will have go through companies and stuff, but I kind of just I had one of kind of my mentor now, one of our coaches came up to me and kind of connected me, and from there it's kind of just led to South Dakota State somehow. I don't know how, but it's that's where I'm at right now, and that's how I don't know. The story of how I got here is a different one.
Yeah, and so I hope I don't pronounce the name of the school wrong, but Cochise Junior College.
Yeah, Cochise.
Yeah, did he have a connection there, or how? Do you have any idea how the connection there?
From Cochise to Australia,
or even from your mentor that you talked about that helped you get connected?
Yeah, they were connected because my mentor had one of his sons played there for a couple of years, and he really liked him, and that's why that connection was strong. So that's what helped me get there.
Gotcha. Gosh, you never know where life will take you, do you?
No, yeah. Not to Douglas, Arizona, that's for sure.
Right. and then the prairies of South Dakota. Quite a difference from living on the western coast of Australia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Oscar, when the news broke last spring that you would be committing to South Dakota State, immediately everybody goes, checks out your profile, what you did at Washington State. You guys obviously had a tremendous season last year. You started, I think, 23 games, very productive year. And so the expectations were very high. And sometimes it can be a little too unrealistic, almost unfair to big school transfers coming down, but you've more than exceeded everything. What's kind of helped you through that mental process to know, hey, they're going to really rely on me as the focal point here, but still kind of play within yourself and play within the team game?
I think it really helps when the team and the coaches really believe in you a lot. So I think that's kind of eliminated all kind of outside factors and stuff, and then just kind of sticking within the teams really pushed me to be the best I can for the team, and I think that's been one of the main impacts for some of the success this season.
Gotcha. So was that part of it too, when going to South Dakota State? Did you feel you would have a bigger role and a bigger opportunity to make more of an impact?
Yeah. That was definitely one of the factors, because I wanted to go somewhere where I could kind of show, prove what I could do a little more than going to a high major, say, and playing 10, 15 minutes a game.
Gotcha.
I was looking for somewhere a little bit where people could see on everything that I've been working on and show the world a little more.
Okay.
Oscar, you have a very unique skill set. I kind of think of you as kind of a hybrid American European big style. You're obviously very big and you can post up on the block, and that's where you do most of your damage, but you also have the European style where you can handle the ball, pass, shoot. You're a very good free throw shooter. Who did you kind of emulate your game after? And what is that kind of how the Australian game works? Is it a mix of both, or is it more European influence, or how's that all?
Yeah, I think it's a little different from American high school and American college, because as I was like practicing back home and when I started playing, it was a lot of guard work and a lot of, I wasn't being put in one position all the time. I was, they was spacing me out. They were seeing what I could do. That was like testing, improving all the other assets of the game instead of just like getting under the rim. So I think that's really helped me a lot.
So I like to ask a little bit abstract questions, so bear with me a little bit. And if you don't have a great answer, so be it. But what is something, as your journey through many different places as a basketball player, what do you think you're most proud of as a basketball player, whether it be growth or even maybe personal? What do you think you're most proud of?
I think growth, like personal growth, is a huge one. Like, obviously going to all these places that aren't like, well known all over the world. Like we're going to Douglas, Arizona, Brookings, Pullman. Like not a lot of people know about these if you don't know college sports, right? So I'm kind of proud of like the growth, the meeting everyone in these places, the meeting the different cultures, the meeting all that. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah, all these different accents too, right?
Yeah, the Midwest is a little different.
Yeah.
Oscar, tomorrow you play a big rivalry game with South Dakota. Back in the day, and I'm not making this up, and maybe a few of your teammates, you got like 4 or 5 guys on the roster that are South Dakota natives, probably grew up with the stories. Have any of them filled you in on like the old days of the South Dakota State rivalries when dead jackrabbits and coyote pelts would get thrown onto the floor and disrupt games? Have you heard any of that?
I've never heard any of that. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, it was. They finally put in some rules when I went to South Dakota State. They really put the hammer down on that. So I didn't get to see it, but there was. You'll have to ask some of the big fans that you talk to around town about what some of those old days were like.
Yeah, wow, that sounds cool.
Well, and I didn't have this as a question, but now I'm curious. And Tim, you might be able to help me a little bit with this. But there's a raffle of a pig at some point, correct?
Yes, last week was the Pork Classic. It's
okay, there we go. Okay,
yeah, it's Oscar. You may not have seen it because they do it at halftime. They wheeled out a pig to auction off.
I've seen that on Twitter.
Yeah. So it's a big deal out there. It's been going on for ages. They used to have a big feed before the game, big sandwich feed, which was always delicious. That was always a tough one to explain back, folks, why there's a pig on the basketball court.
Well, and I only have one more, and then Tim, you may have with the new rule on JUCO. So you played a couple years of JUCO ball. It does give you at least 1 year of eligibility to play college basketball. I won't ask you what you're going to decide to do because you got a whole season to play. But are you excited to have some more options with what you can do with your basketball career?
This opens up a lot of things, a lot of possibilities. So it's going to be exciting what happens in the off season.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then Oscar, one last fun one for me, going back to your roots back in Australia, living on the coast there. What do you tell your family about, the prairies of the United States here in America, South Dakota? Like, have they actually been able to visit you, and have you been able to kind of describe what it's like compared to back home? And have you brought any of your traditions from back home to share with some of the guys on the team?
No, not too much. Dad's coming over in February 9th, so he's going to be here for a month, so he's going to experience it all.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different. It's hard to explain, really. It's hard for people back home to understand everything completely that's going on over here. So it'll be good when my dad can come over and see for himself.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be fun for him. Prepare him for the winter winds, because
it's 20 the other day, and he said it was colder than my freezer. So
Tim and I are both in Minnesota, so we're not too far away. But yeah. Well, that's all we got, Oscar. Appreciate you joining us, and best of luck the rest of the way.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Great to talk to you, Oscar. Thanks.
Bye.